still can't get past that number on the screen. -8 out there today.
Very cold, people.
Oh, man. Well, we had the story earlier this week that the lawsuits against Ursuline High School are headed to mediation now. So how often does a mediator actually come into play in a case like this, and who serves as the mediator? That's the topic this morning for Legally Speaking with attorney Dave Betras. Good to see you as always, by the way.
Good to see you. So that's a federal lawsuit. That's Judge Benita Pearson. And most judges will order you into mediation.
Okay.
Now, what's a mediator? He's an independent third party, and what they do is they caucus with you first. So they bring all the parties in. Sometimes the mediator is very familiar with the case. Sometimes he wants to hear the things about the case. And then he sets the people out in breakout rooms, and he goes in between trying to get a settlement. Okay? Now, he's independent. It's confidential. He can't tell the judge what happened in mediation. You're not forced to settle your case unless it's binding arbitration, which is a separate topic. So he'll go in between the parties. And my experience has been, after or coming up on 41 years, that if both parties walk away a little unhappy, you hit the right note.
Okay.
Okay? Because you're not going to get everything you want unless you go to trial. And what Judge Benita Pearson's trying to do is saying, look, before we get into discovery and all the battles that come with that and all the motions that come with that, let's see if we can't figure out a settlement figure that'll make the plaintiffs happy, make the plaintiffs a little unhappy, make the defendant a little unhappy. What happens, though, is that a lot of times people come in this emotionally charged. So the mediator's job is to try, not always successful, to take the emotion out of this and try to make them see it objectively. The judge cannot arrest anyone for not settling. The judge can't, if your son was shot, the judge can't go and then, we don't do eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And so it's very hard sometimes. The last one I did, it was a very bad automobile accident. And the person says, well, my back still hurts. Make his back hurt. Well, the judge is not going to go and make his back hurt. So the mediator tries to separate the emotion, tries to get the case settled. You're still in control. The plaintiff and defendant are still in control. They could say, no, I don't want to settle for this case. I was in a mediation in federal court where my client insisted that the only settlement that was sufficient for him was for the judge to arrest the police officers that arrested him. I said, that's not how the system works. He goes, well, I don't want to settle then. It was the shortest mediation we had.
So who serves as the mediator? Does the judge select that person, or is it already kind of predetermined?
So, the Mahoning County courts, the Trumbull County courts, the Columbiana County, they have a mediator. They have a guy who's a woman who's paid as a mediator. Judges usually use their magistrates or one of the magistrate judges. So you have the district court judges, and then underneath the district court judges are what's called United States magistrate judges. And they're not appointed for life. They have a 10-year term. And so many times the judge will say, magistrate judge so-and-so will be handling the mediation. And there's an art to it. There's an art to it. Some mediators are really good. Trumbull County, I think, had one of the best mediators ever, and he retired. And he opened up a private mediation practice, and now he's so busy he can't keep up with the work.
Well, I mean, obviously, he's good.
So you could hire a private mediator. There's companies that do that for a living. Or you could have the court appointed a mediator. That's all part of the negotiations.
Interesting. And the whole goal is to find a way to strike a deal.
95% of cases settle. You can go into court. You can get more. You can get less. But if anyone told me they knew what a jury was going to do, I'd tell them, well, you're a liar.
You never know. And once you get in the courtroom.
Yeah,
all right.
and for everyone out there,
yes,
for the love of God, watch the donuts. I was out.
Even in the cold. I'm impressed.
Last night. I'm coming home. I walk in to play Keno because I'm a degenerate Keno player. 3 people go, are you taking the donuts in the morning? I said, yes. I'm taking the donuts in the morning. Would you like to know what I'm talking about?
Unfortunately for my waistline, right? But we appreciate it. Thank you, Dave, as always. Well, coming up next, it's getting louder.